Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator. And joining me is the High Priestess of Love and Queen of the Shameless Plug, Rayceen Pendarvis.
Greetings and salutations all.
Joining us is Chandra Curelley. Welcome.
Oh, hello. So glad to be here.
Such a pleasure to have you here.
Yes.
We are so happy to have you here. So please tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Chandra Curelley, the singer actress. I was born in Jacksonville, Florida, and my family moved to Atlanta. And while I was in Atlanta, I went to school. I was going to Clark College. I was doing commercial art, as you say. And I ran into some drama people, but the names were LaTanya Richardson and Samuel Jackson. And at that time, they were engaged, put it like that, they were engaged. But I had taken some lessons from LaTanya, and I just fell in love with the stage. Well, I just admired her. And I remember doing a couple of plays, and she was helping me, and I was like a class clown. And she was just like, look, you can't hang with me if you just gonna be playing, you know? And so she saw something, she saw something in this brown girl that was she kind of saw herself, I would say. And Sam said, look, if you take voice lessons, because he knew I could sing, but I really wanted to be this dramatic actress. He said, if you learn how to sing, take voice lessons, you'll work more. That's what he said. And I began to do musical theater. And from there, that was it. I started in a band first. And, it's one of those kind of things where you start making money, with the music, that kind of took over the acting part. And so now I've come full circle when I'm kind of doing both. I'm singing and acting. So yeah, I've been
wonderful.
Yeah, I've been blessed to be surrounded with greatness.
Certainly. So we're going to jump into the music, but before we get into that, let's talk about why, you might be a familiar face to some of our viewers, right? So they may recognize you from your acting work on stage and screen, including several Tyler Perry productions. How did that all come about?
Well, Tyler saw me in a play called Sophisticated Ladies. And that's what he would do. He would come down and take notes, I guess. He would just come in the theater. They would let him in free because obviously he didn't have any money. I didn't know he was homeless. I just thought it was this guy that was, hanging out, that was the playwright. And he was like, look at my stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. Everybody's a playwright, But it was something about him when I read the plays that was different than what I was doing, because I was doing a lot of union plays. And they were like the Grapes of Wrath and, the Hot Mikado and stuff like that. And I wasn't really seeing people that I really related to on stage until I read his plays. And so I ended up doing that first play with him. That's kind of how that started. Yeah.
Awesome.
I've seen you in several of his plays. Oh my God.
Yes.
The first time I saw you and heard your voice, I said, my God, who is this woman? And then you just, oh my God, it was like the voice of God lived in you. It was just like, oh my goodness. And then and I know everybody calls you the queen of the holy shake.
Yes.
And that signature move, that signature voice, I mean, my goodness. When I hear you, I think of so many great voices, but I think of the Mahalia Jacksons of the world. Wow. That your voice will be in that kind of realm forever. Do people tell you that when they hear your voice?
Yes, because my spirit man has always been strong in whatever I did. But even when I started singing with Tyler, I didn't know whether or not I would necessarily fit, because most of the singers that we had was gospel singers, kind of R&B singers. I knew I was a little different, but I think he wanted that. I think he wanted to bring that into urban theater. And so all those different flavors that I had, because like I said, I was working doing Sophisticated Ladies. So I was doing like Duke Ellington stuff and, the Grace of Wrath. I was, and so funny that you said that about Mahalia, because I remember doing the Grace of Wrath and I did a song that was famous by Mahalia. And so so what you're hearing is real. I grew up listening to Mahalia Jackson. I had a big influence in my spiritual part of what I do. You always hear my spirit man in it.
Oh, you definitely hear spirit is in everything you do. I mean, as soon as you walk on stage, if it's not stage or screen, I just feel that spirit every time I see you.
Wow, that's awesome.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
And talk to me about the experience with some of your screen work, like Better or Worse, or Bros and all of that. Talk to me a little bit about that screen work and your experiences on those shows.
Yeah, well, when Tyler began to do television, I was just like, okay, he's doing television. I need to do something about that. I need to get on some of the shows. And so I began to work on my craft as far as the screen acting, film acting. So I paid a lot of attention. So even I did that while I was on stage. It was like, okay, they would kind of do this on, on film. And so I worked on it. And when he came up with For Better or Worse, he had a particular part in there. The actress was already playing the maid part, but he had a particular scene that he wanted me to do with the lead character Angela. And I guess because I was used to his cadence and his rhythm, I knew how to do that particular scene the way he wanted. And I was only supposed to actually do that one season. And I ended up doing 5 seasons. So it was awesome. It was great working with them because they were film actors. And so I learned a lot from them. Michael Jai, working with them. That was a great experience for me.
And how was it, making that transition from stage to screen for you?
Surprisingly, I mean, it was not hard. The thing about theater is it really trains you.
Yeah. And
so if it's anything, you're gonna have, the technique of knowing, get the backstory and all of that. The how they go about and their approach to it is what's different. And so whatever I was doing big on stage, I understood that it was more intimate on film. Yeah, so that was the big difference. But the work was the same. I mean, theater actors are just so on it. They just, they do their research, you know what I mean?
Yes, they do.
It's not just how you look, film is a lot about how you look and understanding angles and things like that. But I was just really fortunate that that he trusted me. It was a lot of that. Because I'm quite sure it was a couple of things he kept saying, Chandra, wait till I say action. Because I'd be like going right in, and then stuff like that I had to learn, I was like, oh yeah, you can't do anything, they say the action. Okay. So he kind of put up with that for a little while. And then it was great after that.
And it shows. I mean, it shows. I mean, the love of your craft shows every time I watch it. But you know what I love about your character on Bros? You're the sexy mom. That's what I love. You ain't just like mom, put on a robe, put on a button. You are the sexy mom, baby.
Yes. And I was just so glad. I was like, okay, I don't have to put the gray wig on. I don't have anything, against wearing the gray wig, but I'm just saying that was fun for me. It was like, I understand and I relate to her in the sense of being, middle-aged, still want to live a life and still being a sexual being, and so many times we don't have those people on film or on television for, for people to say, that's me, And once I did the role, I was getting the emails. They would like hit me up. I'm like, girl, that's me. It's like they were so glad. So, that was another thing where he trusted me because that was different than anything that I had ever done with him. Because, I knew I played the, the church, the holy lady and the, the monarch and the, the wise lady, which Alice is wise. It's just that she's sexy too.
Yes. Now let's talk about your, when I first heard your voice, which was the lead vocalist of the S.O.S. band.
Wow.
In the late 80s and the early 90s.
Yes.
You also recorded and toured with, Roy Ayers. Tell us a little bit about those experiences.
Oh my goodness. So I was with Roy first, and the thing about it was I worked in Atlanta a lot, and I got into the point where I had done everything, and I was just like, I'm gonna move either to New York or LA, get something going on. But so happened, Roy Ayers came here, and a friend of mine said, "Girl, I double booked. Can you open for Roy?" I was supposed to open for Roy, so I was like, "Yeah, girl, I get a free show," because I love Roy Ayers. Okay. And the second night, he came up to listen to, because I did 2 nights, and he said his band had told him, said, "Come up and hear this girl," and I was doing Shaka Khan's Night in Tunisia. As a matter of fact, that's what I was doing. And he said, he gave me his card. He said, "Now I sent for you to come to LA. Would you come?" And I said, I was saying to myself, "Yeah, here we go." But yes, and he was doing at that time Soul Train. He was doing Soul Train at that time, and he sent my tickets. He sent my plane tickets.
Wow!
And that's how that happened. And then as time went on, he was with Columbia Records, and Columbia Records dropped him. And then that changed everything, because he couldn't perform like he was performing before, because he didn't have the backing. And so he said, "Look, I don't know what's going to happen." He said, "But I'm going to go ahead and do the gigs. When I can afford to start sending you back out with me, I'll get you," right? So in that interim, I worked a small jazz club. When I was in the club, the S.O.S. band came in. I didn't know they was there necessarily. And again, I was doing another Shaka Khan song called "We Can Work It Out," R&B version of the Beatles version.
Yes.
I get to the table. They said, "This is the S.O.S. band." And then the guy says, "Yeah, you can sing, but can you sing our stuff?" Because he heard me singing all that complicated music. He was like, "But can you, can you groove? Can you?" I said, "Can you pay me?" And that was the end of that. And I ended up working with them, being with them 8 years, toured with them. We're very close. I just saw them recently, but it was one of those type of things where when we lost our record deal too, because Clarence Avant, which is, you probably heard of him, he decided he wanted to do something else. And so he dropped the label. He was like, "Look, guys, you don't owe me nothing. I'm going to do something else." And when that happened, the band just, they've been with the label for so long. They just was kind of lost for a second. But I just felt something. I said, "I'm not coming back." I said, I feel God has something else for me. And so I went back into theater, worked with Kenny Leon, the Tony Award winning Kenny Leon now. And I said, "Kenny, I'm not with the S.O.S. band." He was like, "Oh," he's like, "Shoot, I thought you was back there doing them flashbacks and stuff, flashback tools." And I was like, "Kenny." But I was like, "I just need a couple of roles. I'm trying to get it going and whatever." And that's when Tyler came. And he saw me on stage doing one of the plays. So it all just like the circle.
Full circle.
Yep.
Opens another door.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
How it all connects.
And since your time with the band, you've recorded several solo albums. What are some of your favorite songs that you've released?
My favorite right now is that I released "Tell Me What I Gotta Do" by Al Jarreau, because I wanted to honor him. He's just one of those artists that was so unique and so, in a way, changed music and how people crossed over. He evolved as music evolved as far as instruments were concerned, and the phrasing of instruments. And so I just don't want this generation and the next generation to forget who he is, because it's not who he was, it's who he is. And that's the thing about what we leave here will remain here. And so his music will live on. And so that's kind of my favorite now. But, I do this thing called URSPA jazz. It's urban spiritual jazz. And it's all those things I was telling you about. The urban is the funk and from the S.O.S. band and those years of doing funk. Then it was, and then the spiritual aspect came strongly kind of integrated when I got with Tyler Perry, because I was doing a lot of I guess, spiritual music. And then the jazz is that I've always had this gift of improvisation. They used to call, when I did funk, they used to call me Vampula, because it's like, because I couldn't wait till the vamp got there, you know? So, yeah. And so I was like, well, I'm just all these combination of things. And then I said, URSPA jazz, urban spiritual jazz.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother flavor, but that's what it is. I mean, when people look at the history of music, everything comes from the roots. The
That's
roots
right.
are, you know, and I always tell people music is like a gumbo. You got to have everything in it. And people don't understand, you got in that gumbo, you got to have pop, rock, soul, jazz, country, blues. All that is part of the music gumbo.
Yes.
And people don't get that. People just say you're one thing. No, you're all those things.
Yeah, you know, but they, you know, they got to be able to call you something. They can't look at it as being all those things. They have to put you in a category, because I think they can handle it better. You know, I think Mr. Perry went through that, because when he first came out, they were just like, well, you're gonna write the thing, you're gonna direct it, you're gonna direct it, you're gonna produce it, you're gonna, you know. And he was all of that. And he was like, yeah, I'm doing that because this is my baby, you know, and I'm gonna take care of my baby. And so I gotta be all those. And they didn't want to accept him doing all that. They were like, look, you write it, but let's get you another director, you know, or, you know, you direct, but let somebody else write it, you know. And so now, you know, he's sharing it, but yeah, he went through the same thing. It is weird how people do. And they want to put you in a category.
And that's what, and it's sad because, you know, I'm from an era and a time when music got played on all stations. You listen to it, I can hear Gladys Knight and Barbra Streisand and Ray Charles and B.B. King, and, you know, everybody all on that same station, Etta James, you know. With everything all on the same station. And now it's just so divisive. And it's like, you know, when I think of artists, when I hear you, like, especially when I hear your voice, I think of, you can sing anything. You know, it's like they just put it before and let her do what she gonna do. And you're just fantastic live performer. And you know, and when we talk about that, tell us about your upcoming show in DC. What's happening?
Oh yeah, you know what? I'm so excited, because when I first got the opportunity to do it, I was like, that's great, because this part of the country has not seen me like this. Now they know me from the plays, and then some people know me from the S.O.S band, but they don't know the Chandra Curelley experience, which is all of those things. And then it comes out a certain kind of way, but they can't even describe it. You know, it's like this is more of an experience. This is something that, you know, you get involved in, you know. So what they'll get is, they'll get, you know, something for the soul. And they'll get something that's gonna make them dance. I'm gonna make them laugh. You know, I'm gonna make them listen to some music like, wow, we going there because of the prowess, you know. And then also my music director, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but, you know, he's an award-winning
I'm familiar.
musician. Yes, Daniel Weatherspoon. And so that was, you know, like I say, it's God, it's all God. To make sure that I was in the right hands, that those things were going to be taken care of. And so, you know, I'll be doing some copy material, but I guess when I do copy material, I kind of do it the way I do it. And also I'll be doing some of my original music. I'll also be doing the song that I did in Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Yeah, Love Again. Yep. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
And of course, viewers, if you're seeing it right here, this will be March 30th, 2023, 2 shows, 7 and 9 at the historic Blues Alley. Yes, in Washington, D.C. That is at Blues Alley. Have you ever performed at Blues Alley before, or have you ever been before?
Yes, see, yeah, and like, again, the connection, once I did it, once I said yes and had a made up mind, as they say, then I realized the connection, just like we're talking about all the other stuff. This is no accident. See, because when I did the theater work here, I worked at the Arena, I worked at the Studio Theater, and I worked at the Ford's Theater. And I was nominated for a Helen Hayes Award for Slam at the studio theater. I was like, that's when I got nominated for the Helen Hayes, you know, and it just started all coming together. I was like, yeah. But I did Blues in the Night at the Arena Theater. I did Hot Mikado at the Ford's Theater, you know, and then my first time ever coming to Blues Alley was with Roy Ayers. And that's where I met Gene Carn. And he put me on the stage with Gene Carn, because I was just like, I don't be singing with Gene Carn. He said, I'll put you on the stage with anybody.
I
Tell
love
somebody
it.
that is so funny. It's so funny. You know what? I have your playbill from Blues in the Night, which is so funny.
You're kidding.
Yeah, I think I do. I know I do. I just got to dig it. You know how you keep everything in crates? That's in a crate. So I keep all my programs in a crate. So I was like, wow, because I was telling somebody, I remember her in Blues in the Night. And it's so funny. So funny. And I think, if memory serves me right, did Reggie Ray do the costumes for that?
He did costumes for that. But he did costumes for me. Wait, did I do? No, I did a couple of things with him. But I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, because I know you did some stuff with Reggie Ray. So yeah,
yes, he did crowns.
Girl, I got to go in the crate, go pull it, because
he did crowns. He did the costumes for crowns.
Yeah, Reggie.
He was incredible.
Oh my God.
Oh my Reggie Ray. Oh my God. Yeah. And
well, Chandra, let everyone know, you know, how they can learn more about you, keep up with everything that you're doing, and, you know, learn more about this upcoming show and get, you know, learn updates as well.
Yes. Well, I have ChandraCurelley.com, and you can see all the stuff, like photos. You can hear the music. You can purchase the music there. Videos of the shows. Videos of performances. You can see them all on my website, but I'm also on Facebook. It's Chandra, let's put it like the fan page of Chandra Curelley. And then you can go to Instagram, which is The Real Chandra Curelley, because you got to do that because everybody try to say they're Chandra Curelley. And and then Twitter is Chandra Curelley.
Awesome. Well, viewers, please look in the description below for links, including how to get tickets for the show at Blues Alley. Chandra, thank you so much for joining us today.
It was my pleasure.
Such a pleasure.
And thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and for having me.
To those watching, please follow Team Rayceen on social media and click around our YouTube channel and check out our other interviews, blogs, forums, and more. And while you're there, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Rayceen, what would you like to say to our viewers?
Thank you for watching.